The first time I ever played a Zelda game, I was instantly hooked. It didn't matter that I was only 5 years old, or that I never even made it past catching a single fish. When I played Twilight Princess on our family Wii, I felt like I was a hero. As I've aged, I've played a lot of games, and I've come to realize that my experience with Zelda games has remained mostly the same. Although I no longer wet the bed, and I did finally learn to catch a fish using finicky motion controls, the sensation of feeling like I'm the one battling monsters, exploring dark caverns, or saving the princess has remained. This is exactly how The Legend of Zelda makes you feel like a hero. Before I reveal Nintendo's big secret, I want to discuss a few surface-level reasons for why these games are so captivating. First, Nintendo understands how to immerse the player within their games. Not just Zelda games, but especially with Zelda games. Everything in these games has a story-driven purpose. From the enemies, to the sound effects, to the dungeons, to the music, to the side quests, to the characters, to the dialogue. Everything enhances the world and the legend that takes place within these games, except for Booger Boy. I feel nothing for Booger Boy. While the gameplay is the major focus, since, it's a video game, because you play as a silent protagonist, you get to choose what the story is. In other words, you are the protagonist when you play. The overarching plot is the same for everyone, but every experience is unique. Some people beat the Water Temple after only a few days of trying, while for other people, Ocarina of Time's story ended at the Water Temple. I know I said that like it's a good thing, but it's really not. I hate this dungeon. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom embraced this idea, that Link isn't the hero. You are. The sandbox gameplay and open world empower you to do exactly what you want. You fight those bokoblins. You die fighting a Gleeok. You feel uncomfortable about the Satori man-child. You get to determine what these stories look like. Are you gonna take selfies in front of Impa, complete the optional but beautiful main quests, or barrel straight to Ganondorf wearing nothing but underwear? The experience is personalized, and I love it. A major part of what makes me feel like a hero when I play these games is the exploration. Spelunking into caves, running through foggy woods, or overcoming the straight-up cheating boss fights makes it all feel real in a way. And then there's the slight fear factor in these games. Look at this. You see this? How do these games get an E rating? I've never been more terrified in my entire life than when I first fought Dead Hand.
No, please, don't touch me with your hands! I'm an introvert! I need personal space and books!
Overcoming a face-eating monster, solving puzzles, or even just conquering an unsettling dungeon adds to the overall experience of feeling like a hero. The manly urge to go and cut down giant monsters with a sharp piece of metal for a beautiful girl was imprinted in my mind by my ancestors from the Ice Age. There aren't any mammoths out there in the real world. Yet. But I can still satiate that desire by fighting Moldugas from the comfort of my house. Side quests have 3 functions in these games. You get a little bit of dopamine, a lot more gameplay, and the raw pride that comes from knowing you helped a digital representation of a person out. You could have walked your dog, made dinner for your wife, or took a shower. But it doesn't matter. You founded Terrytown. Side note, anyone who can help a 4 marry a solid 10.5 is a hero in my book. That extends to my marriage. So, on a surface level, that's why Zelda games make you feel like a hero. But Nintendo has a secret weapon up their sleeve. The hero's journey. It's a very common storytelling template, and we've all seen it many times. It involves a hero who goes on an adventure, is victorious in a decisive crisis, and comes home changed or transformed. It's found within books, movies, video games, and even in real life. One of its common names is monomyth, implying that the hero's journey is actually the ultimate narrative archetype. If that sounds far-fetched to you, here are some movies that follow the hero's journey. Maybe there's something to that description after all. But wait, hold up. How does the hero's journey apply to The Legend of Zelda? Well, the best way to answer that is to examine one of the games. The ordinary world is the environment that the hero will leave behind on their quest. Link's ordinary world is the Kokiri Forest, where he lives as a child with a Kokiri. His entire world resides within a literal and metaphorical innocence of childhood, sheltered from the many dangers of Hyrule. Next comes the call to adventure. Link is first called to adventure by Navi, the fairy, who guides him to the Great Deku Tree. The Deku Tree then calls Link to adventure again, warning him of a growing evil, or in this case, Lord Suavemente himself, and tasks him with protecting Hyrule by obtaining the Spirit Stones and the Master Sword. Then comes the refusal of the call. Like many traditional heroes, Link doesn't explicitly refuse the call, but his hesitation in this cutscene is perhaps the representation of this. He's still a child, inexperienced and unsure of his place in the larger world, but ultimately, he leaves the world he's known behind, realizing his call to a higher purpose. Once the hero is committed to the quest, whether consciously or unconsciously, their mentor appears. Typically, this mentor gives the hero magical items that will help in their quest. Link has multiple mentors. The Great Deku Tree, Rauru, Sheik, even this owl. Is this Rauru still? I don't know, I'm not reading all that. This is the point where the hero actually crosses into the field of adventure. Link crosses his threshold into an actual field, Hyrule Field, but his pinnacle threshold moment comes when he pulls the Master Sword from its pedestal, catapulting him 7 years into the future and turning him from child to adult. As an adult, his responsibilities have doubled, because now he has to do laundry, work a part-time job, pay taxes, and try to build not only a voice acting career, but a YouTube career as well. Tag your therapist in the comment section. This is the deep breath before the climax. All of the puzzles, fights, and exploring is brought to mind as you realize that this is going to end one way or another. Link's inmost cave comes as he prepares to face Ganondorf. Does he have the necessary strength to confront the evil that's corrupted Hyrule? The ordeal is the climactic battle with Ganondorf, the ultimate test, the fight that will determine the fate of an entire world. Evil incarnate versus a child on an any % speedrun. Smart money's on the pig. After Ganon is defeated, Zelda uses her power to send Link back to his childhood. He returns to a time before Ganondorf's reign, back to his life as a child. It's his ordinary world again, but nobody knows what he's done to save them. He's forgotten. Link's elixir is the peace he restores to Hyrule by preventing Ganondorf's rise to power. Though the timeline resets and most of the world forgets what happened, what Link has done positions him forever as Hyrule's hero of time. So that's the hero's journey, and it's clearly used in Ocarina of Time, but what about the other games? Well, the ordinary world, where Link wakes up in a bed in almost every single game. The call to adventure, where Zelda or his sister or his mayor's daughter gets kidnapped. I guess Link got kidnapped recently too, but you know what I mean. The meeting with a mentor, whether it be a washed-up sailor, an owl, or a pixelated old man. Crossing the threshold. Tests, allies, enemies, approaching the inmost cave. This one is literally a cave. The ordeal, the reward, the road back, resurrection, and returning with the elixir. I showed you footage from lots of different games here, but this main structure is common across all of them. The hero's journey reflects our own life experiences of leaving behind the familiar. We see ourselves in the hero, especially during their moments of adversity. I mean, have you ever worked a 9 to 5 and not compared yourself to this guy? That giant boulder represents working in the fast food industry. In a nutshell, we love the hero's journey because it teaches us about our own human experience. This narrative structure shows universal themes of growth, struggle, and transformation, all things that are central to our understanding of life and our place in the world. So, how does Zelda make you feel like a hero? Because when you play it, you're subconsciously thinking about your journey. You are the hero of your story, and you can't help but see bits of Link and Zelda within yourself. So yeah, the Zelda games are redundant, but man, do they just work.